Good morning, everyone. This is Cash Jackson here in the Logan County Jail located in Paris, Arkansas. I hope that you can see me on the screen. I've got a little bit of a height challenge here as the kiosk that we're able to do these visits on are, well, positionally it's located a little low for somebody that's 6'1". And so anyways, I just wanted to give everyone an update about where things are at and where things stand, and to give some gratitude and thank you for the support that's came my way. And as many of you might know, I was arrested on a governor's warrant back in December. So December 13th, I was doing my Monday check-ins because I had been arrested previously back in October, and on a charge of threatening a public official out of Lake County, Illinois. I'm charged with threatening Judge Joe Salvi out of Lake County. Judge Joe Salvi was the family law judge in my case, who severed contact with my daughter Kaylee back in March of 2018 while I was running for governor of Illinois as a libertarian. He did sever my contact while my case was properly removed in the federal court, so he had no jurisdiction. As of today, it's been more than 1,400 days since I have seen or spoken to my daughter Kaylee. After he severed contact with my daughter, during that election, his own brother, a licensed and practicing attorney who was a former House Republican in the 90s in Illinois, his name was Al Salvi. During that election, he had publicly demanded my gubernatorial nomination, and I did not relinquish that nomination to him. Judge Joe Salvi and attorney Raymond Bolt, who represents my ex-wife, as well as the former guardian ad litem, Nicole Sloby, had worked feverishly to get me to drop out of the race. And I had a tremendous amount of pressure that was put on to me by attorneys and by the judge in question to drop out of that political race. And it was especially troubling that it was reported in the Daily Herald there in Lake County, Illinois, that Judge Salvi's brother, again, had demanded my gubernatorial nomination. I presented this evidence in open court properly, and I made an oral motion for Judge Salvi to recuse himself in that matter, and he did not. Unbeknownst to me, during this time frame, he was also being overturned by the appeals court on a previous matter where he had recused himself on a case and then actually brought himself back on the matter after he had recused himself. And the appeals court reversed him on that, and that was the Peridoti case. And so, I guess I wasn't too terribly surprised that he didn't recuse himself in that matter, even though that was a very clear conflict of interest. Once the election was over, he severed contact with my son, Caden, and that was in November of 2018, immediately preceding the election. And it was at that time that Marina Phoenix and I had decided to leave from Illinois, which actually we had made up our mind before that. We knew and understood the probability of me getting elected was quite slim as a third-party candidate, though we were hopeful, and I worked extremely hard during that campaign. We did plan on trying to relocate because Marina did not feel safe, and I did not feel safe with what we were experiencing there in Lake County. And regardless, I've now been in Arkansas for a little over 3 years, and we went over the 3-year mark this past November, and I still have no contact with my children. Judge Janelle Christensen was the judge who took over from Judge Salvi, and she too prevented contact between my children and I. I had to go offshore and work for a period of time to save up thousands of dollars because the guardian ad litem who was representing my children, Nicole Sloby, wasn't doing anything. I was begging to see and speak to my children, and as many of you know, I am a disabled veteran. The majority of my disability is for major depressive disorder. That major depressive disorder stems directly from the fact that I have really been separated from my children for the majority of the last 10 years, since 2012, whenever I was first sent back to Washington State to conduct classified research and development. I am deeply perplexed and saddened that my country has looked at me as some form of a criminal, and I am a victim in this, and so are my children. There was never any notice of motion. There was never a motion. There was never an allegation of unfitness or endangerment. They had no reason whatsoever to sever contact with my children, and I'm a desperate father who's hurting tremendously. I have begged like a dog to see my children. I have driven to Illinois on several occasions and done all that I could do to try and see and speak to my children and have a relationship with them. The mother, Julia Patton, has never sent me one single photograph in over 3 years. She's not sent me any emails, no text messages, absolutely no updates as to the welfare of our children, even though she does get $1,200 a month from me. The media in Illinois will lead you to believe that I'm a deadbeat father who doesn't want to provide for his children, and nothing could be further from the truth. In 43 years of my life, I never had any criminal charges levied at me. All of the allegations that Julia Patton had made against me, the most egregious of those that she obtained in orders of protection, those orders of protections were all gained, those emergency orders of protection were all gained in an ex parte hearing that I was not present for, that I had no ability to defend myself when she made those allegations. But those allegations were unfounded, and those orders of protections were subsequently dismissed, with the exception of the third one, which was extended into a plenary order. That plenary order was extended at that time frame simply because of this right here, me expressing my First Amendment right. Many of you may have noticed that you've not seen what used to be my governor page up any longer. That's because they took it down. Facebook took my page down, and I have been unable to post or to pull any of that information or that video or have access to the supporters that I once had access to. And so I've been building the Veteran Liberty Network, VLN, with CJ Abernathy, an honorably discharged Marine Corps veteran who has not seen his daughter in more than 7 years. This man is a Purple Heart recipient, okay? He's got a daughter that he loves and misses tremendously. And myself, CJ, Anthony Sabelli, Frank Hand, and a few others, we have set out to build a nonprofit for us to do journalism, because they are punishing us. There are reprisals that we're suffering, and they're using our children against us to silence our First Amendment right. Please understand what that does to us as veterans. The betrayal that we feel, each one of us as individuals, from our country when we're not permitted to see and speak to our children for years at a time, especially when it's made abundantly clear that they're doing that in an effort to silence your voice, which is what's been transpiring in my case. I was in court up in Illinois earlier this year for a full trial. CJ was there. He was present. He was a witness to each and every day of these proceedings. Julia Patton did perjure herself on the stand multiple times, and some of that was caught on video. And the only way that we got that on video is because that we are investigative journalists, and we are trying to uncover and expose the corruption in Lake County, Illinois. Kind of coming back to these charges as they stand, there's a quote in there, and I want everybody to be clear. I did make that phone call to the Lake County, to the court. I did call them that day, but I also called the FBI and I called NCIS there in Great Lakes, Illinois. The executive department has been of no assistance to us whatsoever. Parents who are pleading for investigations and help in Cook counties, in McHenry counties, and in Lake County, they've gotten no assistance. The FBI has been unwilling to help to bring about an end to our suffering, and that's exactly what this is. Imagine if you went years without seeing or speaking to your children, yet you're still required to provide substantial sums of money for them. Now, they allege that I'm a deadbeat father. Again, nothing could be further from the truth. I have a beautiful home here in Arkansas that my children have never been to, and I have absolutely begged to just see and speak to my kids. And the guardian ad litem who took over from Nicole Sloby Uh, she continued to insist that I abandon my children simply by moving out of this state. That is not abandonment. Abandonment is not deciding to relocate because you've been to court over 100 times. Please understand that myself and my former fiance, Marina Phoenix, that we were exhausted with the family court process. We wanted peace. We just wanted to live our lives. I wanted to just raise my children, and we have not been permitted to do that. These are human rights violations of the worst kind. And frankly, I mean, we're tired, we're exhausted. We want to see our kids. We want intervention. We want somebody to investigate what they're doing. I was never found to be a danger to my children. I was never found to be unfit. When they severed contact with my kids, when Judge Joe Salvi severed contact with my daughter in March 2018, he had no jurisdiction. I want you guys to understand that. How long can one father wait? How long can one mother wait to see and speak to their kids? I have supporters in Illinois and Cook County and Lake County, some of them, who haven't seen their children for far longer than even I. Years at a time, they're deprived of their children. These are just basic human rights. I miss my kids terribly. Caden and Kaylee, Dad just continues to fight as hard as he can. My mother has pancreatic cancer. I've been in here. I miss Thanksgiving and I miss Christmas and New Year's with my family. My mother's undergoing pancreatic cancer treatments, and I'm waiting still to be extradited. I have a writ of habeas that I submitted. I had to handwrite it in this jail. The Logan County Jail has prevented me from representing myself as a pro se litigant. They violated the Arkansas Uniform Criminal Extradition Act by not taking me in front of a judge whenever I challenged the legality of my arrest. They have prevented me from being able to file my own representation for my family law case up in Illinois. Um, Currently, my attorney, Edwin Bush, is suspended from the practice of law because of how viscerally he himself has went after them. And it is not unusual for bar associations to cannibalize their own who challenge what's happening in these courts. And that's what we're doing. We're punching up. We're not punching down. Okay, we're fighting people up above us that are unlawfully depriving us of basic human rights to our children. I hope that you guys would please contact Asa Hutchinson's office here in Arkansas and ask them to investigate this case. He has the lawful authority to do that in accordance with the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act through the Attorney General, Lisa Rutledge. I'm also asking you guys to contact J.B. Pritzker's office in Illinois. He is my former political opponent that signed for my extradition. The paperwork that came from Lake County, Illinois wasn't even stamped or sealed by Judge Diane Winter, and she is the senior judge of that court, nor Aaron Cartwright Weinstein, who's the clerk of courts. It appears as though somebody used a stamp for their signatures, and I believe that it was obtained fraudulently, and I believe that an investigation needs to unfold. Thank you for supporting VLN. Please share this message. Please get it out there. For more veterans, service members, any of your family and friends that are experiencing these issues, please share and support what we're doing, right? I'm just a father who's still trying to get to his children, and I'm working as hard as I can. I'm at an extreme disadvantage trying to represent myself as a pro se litigant in jail, where they give you no access to the court and no access to material to draft motions or responses, and frankly speaking, in conditions that just aren't suitable to work as an attorney, especially one who's not been to law school. So we'll provide more updates throughout the coming week. Look for those to be scheduled on our calendar. We will have scheduled ones on YouTube and Facebook. So thank you guys so much for all of your support, and we're going to go ahead and end this visit. Thank you from VLN and from Kash Jackson and family. Appreciate you all.